Hello and welcome to this Hangout on Air from Suntico. Today we have a special Hangout on Air for companies that use Sage 50 accounting software, and the subject today is how to make e-marketing easy for you using Mailchimp, one of the leading email marketing platforms that are out there. My name is Hugh Johnson. I'm Head of Business Development at Suntico, and if you like what you hear today, please share this Hangout via your social channels. And you can also reach me at Twitter at HughCJohnson or by email at hugh.johnson@suntico.com if you'd like any further information or any questions following this Hangout. On the agenda today, we've got four things. Firstly, a quick reminder of why you should consider doing e-marketing if you're not already doing it. Specifically then, why you should use Mailchimp as an e-marketing platform, and why on earth should you link Mailchimp to Sage 50, and finally, how to get started in some very simple and easy steps. So if we crack on and we take a look at the very first question there, why e-marketing? Firstly, I'm not going to go into all of these points in detail. These are 10 points that I actually just pulled off. I cheated here. I pulled this off a blog post that I found on the internet, but they all make sense. And actually, if you search, just do a quick Google search on the internet, why e-marketing, you'll come up with all these same reasons. And the first reason is penetration. Most people have an email address. Roughly half the world's population have an email address. And underneath that penetration, you've got reach. And what I mean by that is that if you target somebody with an email, there's a fair chance that email will get delivered to that person if you've got the correct email address. The third point there is the lifespan of the communication, because if you put out a tweet to your followers, the lifespan of that tweet is really only a few minutes. And if your followers are not happening to be on Twitter at the time or actively following you in their lists or so on and so forth, there's a very high chance that your follower will miss that tweet. Similar with Facebook posts or LinkedIn updates. And whereas the lifespan of an email, if you deliver an email into somebody's inbox, that might still have a lifespan of a day or two before it gets lost and the person doesn't see it. The fourth point I'd like to come on to is the return on investment. And of course, this is very personal and it does depend on how much you invest in your e-marketing programs. But various studies would show that it's one of the highest returns on investment that you can make in terms of marketing activity. And the context that we're talking about today is business to business marketing, particularly to companies that do a lot of regular trading with their own set of regular customers. And in that context, the return on investment can be truly phenomenal. Many studies would show perhaps, for every dollar that you spend on e-marketing, perhaps you get a return of $40 or $50 back. Of course, this is very dependent on exactly how you use it. The fifth reason is analytics. And using modern email tools like Mailchimp, it's actually possible to track an awful lot of what you're doing via email and track the activities, track the open rates, the click-through rates, and see what your customers are doing there. And if they click through to your website, if you know who they are, it's also possible to track actually what they're doing on your website. So it's full of analytics. It's full of opportunities to engage. I mean, you've got the reply to button on the email that comes in, which is a golden opportunity to engage with your clients on a one-to-one basis, as opposed to a one-to-many basis that you have out on the social media. But I'm not trying to knock social media, because the point I want to make about integration here is that you can integrate your email systems very tightly with your social media. So you can include, if the customer has said yes to something on your email, it's very easy also to ask them to say yes to like you on Facebook and include them on the communications there. And you can get into quite sophisticated integration of your email marketing activities and integrating your email lists with your Facebook followers and with even your non-followers on Facebook. So integration between email and social media is also key. So that's a big reason why to build your email list. From a promotional point of view, generally speaking, customers and consumers are more tolerant of promotional emails as opposed to promotional posts on Facebook. And in fact, they're extremely intolerant of promotional posts on LinkedIn. Another key aspect is mobility, because an extraordinary percentage of emails are actually read via mobile devices. In fact, Google, I believe, claim that 60% of all Google emails are read via mobile devices. And so again, e-marketing via mobile is a very, very convenient way to reach people when they're out and about on the mobile. And of course, the classic thing is personalization. And that's actually the key thing that I'm going to talk about today, because again, if you're a business-to-business company trading with a regular set of customers, you know far more about those customers than your competition does. And it's a golden opportunity to target them and communicate with them in a very personalized way. And we'll come on to that in a few minutes. I want to talk briefly about why Mailchimp. And this is not intended to be an advertising platform for Mailchimp, but in preparing our integrations with Suntico, and therefore integrations with Sage 50 and other accounting platforms, we did investigate a number of e-marketing platforms, and we settled on Mailchimp as the priority for a number of reasons. Firstly, for a small to medium-sized business, it has an absolutely super free plan. And what I mean by that is, if you've got a mailing list of under 2,000 contacts or 2,000 email subscribers, you can use Mailchimp absolutely free of charge forever. And I think that's fantastic. But even better than that is actually their paid plans. Because unlike a lot of software services that are available over the web, you don't have to, with Mailchimp, you don't have to subscribe to their top plan to get the top functionality. Anybody on the paid plan, no matter what level of pricing you're at, gets all the functionality of Mailchimp. And there is some fantastic functionality in there. So even if you're just running a modest plan, you can avail of the top functionality. And I think that's absolutely fantastic for small business. The third point, which I think is, again, very valid for small business, is it is incredibly easy to use. And what I mean by that is even I can use it, which I think says an awful lot. If you happen to work with a marketing agency, it's great for working with agencies. You can share your account with them. You can share your details. They can set up campaigns for you that you just finally hit the button and execute and approve. And the final point, which is the point really that I'm going to come to today, is that with Mailchimp, you can have very tight integration with Sage 50. And I'll come on to the reasons why you might want to do that now. That, of course, is via Suntico. So why would you want to integrate with Sage 50? Well, the context here is really if you're a business-to-business company working regularly with an existing set of clients, and the list of customers in your Sage 50 system is by definition your customer list. And you overcome immediately through integration to your Sage 50 system any vague discrepancies that you might have between your marketing system and your true business systems. So that's one reason why you'd want to integrate with Sage 50. Another reason is that most email systems, Mailchimp included, their unit of currency is the email address and the contact. Now, in a business-to-business environment, your marketing unit of currency, yes, it is at the contact level, but it's also, very importantly, it's at the account level. You know, your major accounts, your minor accounts, your accounts that buy certain types of product, the accounts that buy other types of product, your accounts in Georgia, your accounts in Texas, and so on. And very often in a B2B context, you really think of your market as the different accounts and account groups, as opposed to the different contacts. And by integrating with Sage 50, we can help you achieve this account level segmentation. But even better than that, we can also help you achieve behavioral segmentation. Because you've got a wealth of information about your existing customers in Sage 50. All the previous purchases that they made from you, when they made them, how much they spent with you, how often they make purchases with you. All that information you have sitting in your Sage 50 database. This is information that your competition does not have. So while your competition is blasting your customers with bland, regular, good old, any old marketing emails, you can be smarter. And you can leverage the information that you have in your Sage 50 system, and you can target your customers based on their behavior, their historic behavior with you in order to improve your communication with them. And what I mean by that, so just before we take a very quick look, there's a bit of a more detailed diagram here, and really what I'm illustrating here is what we do and how we help you facilitate all of this. So on the left-hand side, we have Sage, your Sage 50 system, and out of that, into Suntico, we pull all of your Sage contacts, first name, last name, email, the account they're working within, the account type, and the sales rep that looks after them, as well as any tags that we offer you the facility. Oh, sorry, I'll come on to that in a second. Once that information is pulled into Suntico, then we also enable you to enrich that data. So you can enrich that data with additional contacts, an unlimited number of contacts per account. You can add prospect accounts and contacts. You can add categories to your accounts. You can add tags to your contacts and to your accounts. Any kind of tags you want. You can add dedicated reps for the contact. And most importantly, you can add dynamic lists based on the behavioral and transactional information of your accounts. And based on all of that information, you can push that into Mailchimp to create your Mailchimp list, and then sitting underneath that and alongside that, Mailchimp segments that are based on the behavior of their purchases with you. And from that, you can deliver much more targeted communications than any of your competition ever could to your customers. So let's take a very quick look at what I mean. Okay, we're logged in here to Suntico, and what we've done is in the background, we're connected to Sage 50, and in the background, automatically information is being pulled up, and we've got all the accounts and contacts and transactions and everything that has happened in Sage 50. That's all pulled through into Suntico, where that can be analyzed and segmented and then pushed up into Mailchimp. If I just briefly delve into the settings, my company profile, what you can see, I'm not going to go through the heartache of, it's not really heartache, but I'm not going to go through the setting up of the Mailchimp integration. I've previously done that. I've connected my Suntico account to an existing Mailchimp account that I've got open, and it's as simple as putting in these keys here. Okay, so within my Suntico system, what I can do is I can create filtered lists of accounts. I can based on certain criteria. In fact, I've got some pre-prepared lists here. So, for example, I've got a very simple list, a list of accounts in Georgia. I've got a list of accounts by category. I've got a list of companies that have bought a particular service of ours in the past. And with these lists, what I can do is I can push those out as segments into Suntico. So if I take a quick look at what I've achieved in terms of the integration with Suntico, all I have to do to refresh my Mailchimp account, Mailchimp list, I just hit this green button here, which says sync to Mailchimp. And that just pushes the latest contact information up into Mailchimp. If I flick over to Mailchimp and look at my list, what I have there is I've got my Bellwether Garden mailing list. Okay. Now, if I wanted then to push individual segments up into that list, what I can do, this is a pre-release a snippet preview, but what we'll be able to do in the very forthcoming release of Suntico is we'll have this Mailchimp segmentation button here, and on pressing that button, you can then select what pre-prepared lists that you want to send up to create a custom segment within Mailchimp. And just for illustration, what I've done here, if I drill down to the list, and I've pre-prepared this segment here of landscaping customers that I've pulled up from my Sage 50 system. I can get more sophisticated in terms of customers that have bought particular products and so on and so forth. Now, the other piece, and we spoke about this on some of the tweets that went out promoting this Hangout on Air, was to leverage the big data services that are available from within Mailchimp. And there's a very clever service that Mailchimp have called Discover Similar Subscribers. So say, for example, I had 2,000 subscribers on my mailing list. And from my customer, and that's a mixture of prospects and existing customers, if I'd identified among my customers those contacts that I really, really wanted to communicate or promote this particular product or service or email to, if I go to this tab here in Mailchimp and click on Discover Similar Subscribers, what Mailchimp will do in the background, it will analyze the rest of my 2,000 subscribers against everything that Mailchimp knows about those subscribers to look for similar ones to this, to enrich and enhance my mailing list or my segment. And that's leveraging the fact that Mailchimp, being a cloud-based software as a service email system, has sent billions, literally, of emails. So that there's a very high chance that they have quite a lot of information about your subscribers, and they can do a pattern matching and find, if you've got a small list, they can do a pattern matching among your other subscribers to find similar subscribers. And that's really enriching the way in which you can target your communications to your customers. So that's literally just a whistle-stop tour. Sorry. Okay, let me go to the... That's a whistle-stop tour of what we have on the presentation. We've spoken very briefly about why you should do e-marketing. For business-to-business companies, it makes absolute sense. We've spoken about why you should use Mailchimp. If you want more information, go to the Mailchimp account, or you can ask me privately if you send me an email. We've spoken about why you link to Sage 50. If you're in the B2C space, maybe not. But certainly if you're in the business-to-business space, you should have very rich transactional information that you can use and we can help you use to enable quite sophisticated behavioral targeting. And how to get started is simple. So for all of you listening today, if you go to the Suntico website and you register for access to our demo account, and what I can do is I can follow up with you, and we can get you set up, should you wish, with a free trial on Suntico, linked to your own copy of Sage 50, and we will throw in a free service to you of enabling you to hook up to Mailchimp, and we'll step you through all those processes and help you get your first campaign out to your customers. But that offer is only available to any of the listeners today who subscribe to our access to our demo account before the end of this month. So I hope you've enjoyed this Hangout on Air.